Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In a few moments, Thoughtspeak will begin its broadcast. This is a dramatization, and in the midst of the horror and chaos, you will notice that we cannot interrupt for a commercial. For those of you that have heard the show in the past, you will find very little changed. And if you intend to stay with us for the next hour and a half, all these things are done to let you pull in the reins of your imagination. Incredible? You're absolutely right, it is incredible. And you are about to hear the results.
Welcome to Thoughtspeak, a podcast dedicated to the discussion of the 1996 book series Animorphs, written by K. Applegate. I'm your host, Coleman.
And I'm Mitchell, coming to you live and in living color, basically.
As opposed to
the regular way we record things, which is audio only.
Unless you're listening to the audio-only version of this, which
will be available.
Disregard the entire first part of this.
No. If you're listening to the audio-only version of this, know that there is a superior version with video of these two guys.
Mm-hmm. Check out facebook.com/Thoughtspeakcast, or we'll be posting to Twitter and YouTube. Twitter is @Morphcast. YouTube is
Facebook, Reddit.
Something else.
It's all over. It's going to be all over.
This is going to go viral.
I'm sure.
Most like this hour-long episode.
So if you didn't watch the private Thoughtspeak prior to this one, watch it, because then you'll know why we're doing it together like this.
It's the only place you're going to get that information. We're not releasing it.
I'm not telling them now.
I'm not going to tell you now.
We took like 18 minutes to tell them that.
We're in the middle of the episode. We're not going to stop.
Exactly. And this should be one of the greatest episodes, I think.
I don't know. Episode 3 is really good.
What? No. The second episode of our epic coverage of the David trilogy is going to be a good one.
We're doing something special for you guys. We're ramping it up, and as long as the storage space on my laptop doesn't fail, we're good to go.
We've never done video so far.
Well, we've done video. I'm filmmakers.
We've never done webcam video.
Yeah, you should have. We were ashamed of how long it took us to figure out the webcam on my laptop.
Well, when you're used to newfangled film cameras.
I can load a 35mm camera in the dark.
Really? I can lead a classroom of 8th graders.
Both same skill set, same needs.
We took diverging paths at some point.
Somewhere.
Right on. But as we mentioned today, we are covering one of our favorite books, my favorite books maybe. I don't know about this guy. You've said you haven't read this one as much.
Yeah, I read it, just not as much. I've read the David trilogy. I didn't know the second book for a long time, so for me it was like I'd skip straight from the discovery to the solution. Missing the middle.
Terrible idea, because you are missing out on watching The Threat epicness right here.
Which you can
epicness incarnate.
You can watch on Nickelodeon, the TV series. And for the first time on Thoughtspeak, you don't have to hear us ramble. And yes, it's a camera, Mitch. You don't have to play peekaboo with it. This is
what? Oh yeah, we're doing video.
Mm-hmm. So as video though, you don't have to hear us like stumble over trying to describe the crazy cloud background.
Because we're going to show you how bad
we're just going to show it to you right here, and you can make your own opinions. You don't have to listen to us and our... We're into like a Jeff Goldblum thing right now.
Jeff Goldblum wafers.
So, yeah, okay, so let's talk about the cover. You want to talk about the cover?
You know what? As far as covers go, this one's not that bad. It's got like Jake doing the classic Wonder Woman.
Get a non-glare.
Yeah, get the glare off there. I mean, he's still decked out like a 90s kid. I'm pretty sure I had that same outfit.
But see, like, the background, you got, like, a sunset motif kind of thing going on. It's kind of good looking.
It's not bad, yeah. It looks somewhat realistic. Mid-transition still looks goofy as hell, but...
And at least it's not like a random saying or, logo tagline. It's the newest Animorph has a secret, and it's not good. In case you read the first book and you're like, I hope this has a happy ending.
In case you didn't read the first book and you're like, there's a new Animorph now?
In case you just picked this up at the library and you have no idea what Animorphs is.
Yeah.
You're in for a trip.
You're in for a treat. We're going to do the back of the book?
Well, let's do the inside cover real quick.
We usually do the back and then the inside.
No, we do the inside cover when we talk about the outside cover, and then we talk about the back of the book.
Are you sure?
Every single time. Unless we do the back of the book first, and then I don't know what's going on. But, I want to go to the inside cover.
Give us the inside cover.
We got Cassie in the
they actually
wildlife
fit in another
rehabilitation.
character, which I thought was kind of neat. They don't do that very often.
You don't see the kids' main characters on the inside cover very often.
No, it's almost like they were hesitant to really include the character models of the kids.
But you got Jake and Dogmorph.
Is it?
Is
How
it?
do we know it's not Homer?
In Dogmorph. I believe it's Jake. Although I don't remember that part in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book.
Okay. Spoilers for the book. Not for the book.
Jake Morph's dog.
No. Spoilers for our lives. When did you read this book?
Oh, it must have been...
I'm going to say 2 months ago was for me.
It was, probably a while ago. No, I actually read it after you, so probably a month for me.
Yeah.
But I remember it very vividly, and, my notes are awesome. So
I remember the hologram. There's some kid named David.
There's some holograms.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
It's probably the most hologram Animorphs book we've ever read.
I call it hologramception, is what I called it. You'll find out why.
Holoception.
Hologramception.
Hologram crackers.
I'd eat them. Who's reading the back? Should we take turns?
Ooh, like a Megamorphs book.
Well, they're separated into 2 paragraphs there.
Okay. Who's going to go first? Nobody knows.
Me?
Yes.
There is a new Animorph. Wait a minute.
Wow.
I put the emphasis wrong. There's a new Animorph.
Okay.
And he's arrived just in time because the Yeerks are preparing their biggest takeover ever. The ultimate target, the world's most powerful leaders gathered together in one place. What better way to get into the minds of humans? Literally.
At first, David joins the fight with a vengeance. But there's definitely something wrong because he's starting to break the rules, taking risks that could get them all captured or killed. The Animorphs don't know what to do because there was a time when the Yeerks were their greatest enemy. That's about to change. There's like 90 sentences in that paragraph.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they really start jamming them in there. When they have to really squeeze the plot into, these little bits that they give us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, first off, we'd just like to point out...
Oh, yeah. Coolest thing ever in a book.
Check that out, readers. You see those names? Don't look at the Miles. Don't look at the Michael or the Jake. Just little
there you go. Look who this one's for. In fact, that is my very first note of this podcast, is that this one's for Coleman. Really.
She knows her fans.
If you think about it. Especially since it's the one that you skipped all the time.
Yeah. That's... Who knew?
It was for you this whole time.
Let's jump into this, though, because who knows how much video we can record.
Oh, certainly, yeah. So, fresh off from their last adventure, we have the team kind of free-falling off of Visor 1's ship.
Classic Animorphs tragedy.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times that we didn't really think that was going to be the conflict at the end. The conflict was more about David and all that. So, obviously, as soon as they fall out of the ship, they just land and demorph and everything's fine. And it's like, fresh start. Although they're on the same mission, though. And then we've got a couple chapters, a chapter, I should say, of them kind of walking around and discussing things, more screen time for David, basically, to show us what he's all about.
Get to know him, because in the first book, he's very much a secondary character. I would have loved, in this trilogy, to have one book from his perspective.
They really missed out on an opportunity, I will say. They could have done maybe a quadrilogy out of this, and had David be the first book in it. Would have been fantastic. Have him finding the Escafil box?
Yeah. Either the first book or the last book. I think it would have been great to have an ego-driven David who thinks he's one step ahead of them, and then we find out the surprises of the Animorphs, just like we'd find out like a Yeerk plot or something from one of the Animorphs.
That would have been really cool. Yeah.
That would have been cool.
I want the David book.
And just think of the ending, okay? I'm going to frame it up for you. So, David on a rock, screaming for help, and we're in his head. And that's the last thing we ever see of him.
Yeah.
That could have been the end of the series.
The end of the series?
Trilogy, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Quadrilogy.
The end of this series. The purpose of this scene, though, is just to find out more about David and find out where his priorities lie, and we really find out that pretty different from the teams. He's thinking about showbiz and stuff, kind of reminiscent of Marco almost, except he's a little bit more serious about it, I guess.
Yeah, and Marco's just not liking this kid.
No, that's another thing that this book really beats into you, is that him and Marco are just not getting along.
Yeah. So Tobias, he gets David a seagull morph.
And Axe.
Did Axe not have one?
No,
Axe already had
this
one.
is where Axe officially gets one.
That's good.
Because Tobias goes to get it, yeah. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Finally, Axe gets his seagull morph.
So, so they're all running around Seagull. They get to the hotel where this, the world leaders are coming, and, we're going to have this big, huge plot as laid out by Book 20, The Discovery.
Right, yeah.
And they start, not dropping like flies, dropping like seagulls?
Seems appropriate.
Yeah, these controllers wised up. They're not having all these birds flying around. They know what's going on with the Animorphs, the Andalite bandits.
They've got new sunglasses technology that's...
Pew pew. It's like Cyclops, but not as cool.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They just kind of freak all the seagulls out and force them to leave. So their little scouting mission doesn't really pay
It's
off.
cool. I like how they played off getting away, because they were like, okay, everybody, you're going to have to take a hit.
Yeah, that was actually pretty sweet.
And it's funny, because if you think about it, like, the whole David, he freaks out here, and he's like, oh, you made me get hurt, he kind of takes it as a big personal thing. Jake took 2 hits for the team.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to ask anybody else to do something that he wouldn't do himself. Twice.
Twice.
Best
Second time, even better.
Yeah, exactly.
But after their mission is broken up by this sunglasses guy, we have another scene of Jake going home and finding out from his parents about his cousin Sadler.
Yeah, and they start building up this plot, and it's
it doesn't pay off in this book.
It doesn't, but it's you wonder, like, they mentioned it in the Discovery slightly, and they're bringing it on more here. You kind of just know something messed up's going to happen with this cousin.
We're hoping. Come on, don't disappoint us, cousin Sadler.
But Jake's trying to prepare himself for the actual mission, try to figure out a way they can get in.
I like that, showing him actually trying to prepare, study a little bit for it.
This book is the essential what I love about the Jake books so far in this reread. I'd never really noticed it reading them as a kid, but I'm really connecting with the Jake books. He actually is trying to be this leadership type.
No, yeah, and this is one of the best books for displaying that.
It's not just his... I mean, they all have caricatures or stereotypes of what they are. And Jake's the leader who doesn't want to be a leader and all that. But more in this reread, I'm starting to see how he is really taking on the mantle, and it's just messing with him. Every Jake book is messed up.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably got some of the more psychological baggage.
Yeah, and
by the end of this,
they're easily, every single one so far has been my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite
Jake books are always right up there
in
terms of being some of the best in the series. Off screen cough screen. And then while he's trying to research for the mission, he gets a call saying, of course, David's gone missing.
Yeah, Cassie calls him up, distracts him from his research.
Oh, cool bit. The phone call, she calls him, and to kind of mask what they're talking about, they do like the pseudo conversation where she's like, I was watching TV and Dave Letterman's missing. Have you seen Dave?
Yeah.
David is missing.
All the times they call each other on the phone, it's really clever. They try to...
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
Code behind it. But,
So, David's missing and they need to go track him.
Yeah. How do they do that? Best way? Dog morph.
Dog morph. Even though...
Whoop, whoop!
Dog morph, whoop, whoop! Yeah. And after tracking him for some time, Tobias, they meet up with him and he just reveals that, no, David went to a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
So they follow him there. And
this
is where we get...
Weird. Yeah.
This is one of the best conversations, though. This was so good. With Jake, you could really tell, like, he just did not want to be there dealing with this shitey problem.
Yeah. I mean, he's really stressing out, and this isn't the normal book series or TV show like this where they're like, oh, we've got the new mission of the week, and this one's a really important one, and the world's on the line, blah, blah, blah. Jake's, like, killing himself, stressing out over this mission.
Well, yeah, and it's mostly just having to deal with this David thing. Like,
yeah,
it came at such a bad time.
And the Animorphs, they've seen their guts on the floor. They've really grown up at this point. Now they've got like another, even though he's the same age, they got some snotty little kid who couldn't have possibly matured to their level.
No, it is just like babysitting.
Yeah, it's 100%
essentially
babysitting a psychopath who has powers that are, you know,
bad idea.
Rival your own.
We said it in the last episode, but I'll say it again. What should have happened? They should have dropped him off at the Chi daycare. Come back when he was leveled up a little bit more, and maybe not even given him the power straight away. I would have tucked him away with the Chi without giving him morphing power. Waited a couple weeks, see what the Chi thought of him, maybe, because you know they got to be reliable. Somewhat.
I would have packed him up, thrown him on a Skritna fighter, and
there you go.
out in space.
But that would have been a better way of handling it. This was just a really good conversation where Jake is trying to get it over with as quickly as possible, and David is just being an utter little crap and challenging him. That's what he does here, is he really challenges Jake.
Yeah, and it's where we see the selfishness of David. You know, he's in some Holiday Inn, and he's...
Oh, yeah, and he totally thought broken, I'm not going to pay for it.
Just wanted to be in the comfort of a bed.
Right, and he starts in with the
you
sap
never been
story.
camping?
He feels a lot more sorry for himself than any of the other kids ever did.
Yeah,
too. He spends a lot of time moping.
Tobias has every right to act like this.
Right, and Tobias never did, and he fully embraces the bird in him. And he's
should.
He's able to crack jokes with Marco about eating roadkill and stuff like that. If it had been David trapped in a bird morph, you know, he'd be crying bird tears.
He would be.
Constantly.
He'd be like stealing purses off the street or something.
Probably. Talking to people. Yeah. So, excellent scene. We skip ahead a little bit, and we find out that Cassie, of course, as always...
She does usually come up with the plans.
Oh, well, she's the animal expert, so it makes sense. And this is one of the more, like, really creative ones. I was wondering when we were going to see something a little bit more creative than just morph, animal, infiltrate.
Yeah. They go fleas riding a dragonfly.
Pretty awesome, actually.
Still not sure if a flea could hold on to a dragonfly, but we'll assume that Kay Applegate did a research.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Although I did hear that dragonflies are, like, one of the most efficient predators. And it even goes to show, like, Jake morphs the dragonfly, and right away he, like, zips up and eats a mosquito. Which I thought was, like, unrealistic, I guess. They threw that in there just cause to show what the dragonfly can do. But... yeah. Dragonflies are apparently super accurate with their flying.
Yeah, well, they can just...
Yeah, and they can hover.
Watch one.
Which makes the infiltration way easier, since they are able to hide underneath a bellman's hat as he's tipping it to people.
What's the World Trade Center reference?
Oh, I don't know. I just put that in my notes.
Let me see. Mitch,
I glossed over it.
You can see that we're glancing down at our phones with our notes.
Oh, yeah, notes, for sure.
So, Mitch put... World Trade Center reference on page 54.
Exactly.
Could be something incredibly embarrassing.
Kids at home, get your books out. Page 54.
What do we got here?
It's probably not even worth mentioning. I just put it in there because I always like pointing out World Trade Center references in old media.
Try and look for it. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, right there.
I was shrinking all this time, but I noticed something interesting. When you shrink to housefly, pretty soon you can't make out anything further than a few feet away. But with dragonfly eyes, I could still see Cassie quite clearly, towering above me like the World Trade Center. See, I thought it was going to be something about, like, jet fuel can't melt steel beams or something, page 54.
No, but towering like the World Trade Center is obviously something that would have to be changed nowadays.
Well, no, it wouldn't. The World Trade Center 1 is now the new building.
Isn't it like the Freedom Tower?
The Freedom Tower was, like, the nickname. It's I think it's just
It's one World Trade Center.
One World Trade Center, yeah. So you can still technically say it hasn't been around long enough to like become like a part of New York in the way that people talk about it like that. But it will be, I assume. Someday.
But one of the things I love about rereading the series is pointing out things that would have to change now.
Yeah. Now, if they redid this book like they were doing with all the other ones, they'd have to say like, what's the name of that tower in Mission Impossible 4 from Dubai?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Mission Impossible 4?
Mm-mm.
I'm talking about the new one.
I haven't seen 4.
You've seen 3?
I haven't seen 3.
Seen 2?
I haven't seen 2.
You haven't seen the John Woo directed Mission Impossible 2?
No.
Have you seen the original Mission Impossible?
No.
You've seen no Mission Impossible movies.
Let's move on.
Just dumbfounded right now.
So everyone's inside the building. Okay.
You're trying to continue the episode. I'm depressed.
I know.
Suddenly depressed.
It's okay, though. I'll hold your hand under the table.
You know Brian De Palma directed the first one, right?
I literally could not care.
Okay.
Not when there's anamorphing to be done.
All right, folks. Yeah. Okay. This is what you want to do. I didn't know this about my co-host. So.
I really want to talk about this scene that we're going to gloss over incredibly quickly because they get in, and I think the book could have been better if it had delved into other things instead of spending chapters on things like this. Because they're inside the building in Morph. Mm-hmm. They get up into the air ducts and they're flying around trying to figure out where to go, race against time, that kind of thing. They end up getting stuck in a spider web, and it's a big deal for a chapter. And, this is not what I wanted to read in this book.
It's fluff.
Yeah, it's fluff. Exactly. Yeah. It does lead to a moment where it's a race against the time to demorph. Again, gonna be a staple in the series, of course.
It's gonna be a staple.
But this time it's a little bit different. Marco almost gets trapped in Morph again.
Yeah.
Manages to demorph to basically just a giant flea, which is a horrifying image.
Yeah, and he's not able to go any further for a few minutes.
And they actually do make a bigger deal about Cassie being able to coach him down off of this one.
Yeah, it's something, unless it's in one of the ghostwritten books. I don't think they ever went into this. Her almost... don't they call her something eventually?
Maybe. I can't remember. The first time or two that this happens, and she's talked him through it, they're like, oh, good job, Cassie, or whatever. But this time they call a lot of attention to it. Like, everyone's like really super impressed with her. Even Axe has compliments.
It's almost like she's like a beacon for this ability. Like, it's not only that she can morph better and she can... do faster and do it artistically. It's almost like she's like a calming force to someone who might be about to become a novelist.
Maybe, yeah. You could take it as character development on Cassie's part, or... well, not sure which it is, but I liked it. They find themselves in a room. Ah, yes. So, after making their way out of the spider's web, they find themselves in a room with a yerk pool, which would seem to signal trouble.
Yeah, and it's a giant like ballroom.
Yeah,
and there's a yerk pool like right in the middle of it, so they're obviously slightly confused.
Yeah, they're all about to go battle morphs, but Jake's like, "Cool your jets, guys. Let's figure this stuff out." And eventually they realize that they're just hiding behind a hologram. It's
like a pillar in the room.
Yeah, it's a weird description. They're inside a pillar, or a hologram of a pillar. And then they have Visor 3 comes in here, and he's in human morph, they discover. His name's Tony. I call him Visor Tony.
Visor Tony, that makes sense.
Basically goes on to lay out the entirety of the Yerk plot for them to just hear.
Very convenient.
Right. But after that, they decide, they're not really ready for this, and they got to get out of there.
And one more decision they have to make. Again, continuing the darkness of this book.
Oh, this is awesome, though.
You got a little yerk pool. This is going to come up again, but you got a tiny little yerk pool. You got a power plug. Jake's putting
this is character development. Together. This is character development right here.
This is the start of character development.
Remember our second Jake book, The Capture. Mm-hmm. Remember how eager he was to straight up murder all the yerks in the yerk pool that they found. Mm-hmm. No questions asked. He was like, this is the right thing to do, is kill these guys. Yeah. Now, confronted with the same problem, even Axe is like, Prince Jake, what should we do about this? Yeah. And Jake, he specifically says, better leave him alone for now, or something like that. Something that implied that, he really had no desire to kill these guys. He comes up with
the excuse that if we kill these yerks, it would show them that we've been here, and then they'll up the security.
Mm-hmm. Which is a good excuse, but you can tell from that one line of dialogue, you can tell that he really had more reservations about it now.
We're in his head. He's talking about how he doesn't really want to do it. So,
right.
Which, if you've read the end of the series, he doesn't always think that way.
Well, he's going to go through some changes.
For the young yerks in the audience, bad shit's going to
happen. And, it would have almost been home free, no problems here, but David has got to be a reckless run and gun kind of guy.
Yep.
Uses his lion morph.
Yeah, well, they triggered an alarm. And that's what makes them go.
Yeah, some guards come filing in, and they think there's going to be a scuffle. Yeah,
so David morphs into his new Lion Morph, which, pretty awesome. I mean, it's kind of... I like how the main Animorphs, they don't have, like, very obvious battle morphs. And for David, they're like... He's a very obvious character. He's going to obviously pick a lion as his morph. That's
why not?
That's so him.
It makes sense for, like, a villainy kind of character, though.
Yeah. Doesn't he, he's tired again.
Need some coffee, man.
Yeah, man, I do. When does he bring up, when's the conversation on him asking?
About
whether a lion can take,
or tiger?
Was that in the hotel room?
Yeah, that was in the hotel room, I believe.
Who do you think would win in a
fight? And that conversation was straight up
intense.
Him challenging Jake. That's all it was
and he plays off, just like everything with David, he plays off as a joke. Oh, ha, ha,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, tiger fights a lion, who do you think would win?
Later, they're all discussing Visor Tony's latest plot to take over the Earth. And Jake and Rachel start to discuss their cousin Sadler and his situation. And they're doing it in front of the group. And you just see David get this, like, look of elation. I think it specifically says he looked like somebody had given him a gift.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Which is very,
oh, that's ominous.
It's not super subtle writing, but...
Well, no. But it's ominous as hell.
Yeah. It brings this Sadler thing from a random piece of dialogue to, this is a plot point.
Yeah, this is gonna enter in the plot now because it's in David's head for some reason. So they discuss David, they actually talk about, they managed to break away from David for a little bit, and Jake, talks about him with the group. Mm-hmm. And everyone's not really sure what to make of him, except for Marco, who hates him.
Yeah.
Cassie's trying her best to remain, level-headed about it.
Yeah, they kind of decide that he has been through a lot, and, we should take it easy on him.
And that's the mistake, is that Jake is just ignore the problem, focus on the bigger picture.
He keeps thinking, okay, we have a mission to... He doesn't understand that they're taking this reckless force into this mission with... I don't know why they... I mean, I kind of understand why they decided to include David, because they can't really let him out of their sight. They can't, go on a mission without him, because he
daycare
breaks into Holiday Inn and stuff. Yeah.
He breaks into... Wouldn't have happened if there was a Chi Guardian.
Wouldn't have happened if there's, a Best Western nearby or anything, I'm just saying.
And everybody comes up with a new plan, basically. And this is kind of original, too, I thought. They actually use their bird morphs and, weaponize them, is the best way I could put that, with small weights. Mm-hmm. And you gotta imagine, they're probably little magnets the size of, quarters. That's kind of what I was picturing for the birds to be carrying. But they drop them from a really high height and knock out some controllers. I don't think that's later, though. It's really hard to keep up with notes on a cell phone when you're doing this. Yeah. And talking at the same time.
And trying to, look cool on camera.
So cool.
I go over here, that's a good angle. Over here, no, that's a pretty good angle, too. I don't have a bad angle.
Important thing to mention, as they're flying over the beach, Cassie spots the president down below, and he's wearing shorts. Important.
Very important.
I don't know why, but it's important.
You wrote that note.
I know. They managed to find their way back into the hologram pillar. Oh, because there's a roof access directly up.
Yeah. Good thing they boot. Well, because they said that they have to, the power source for the hologram is actually in one of the ships floating above the hotel.
It's somewhere else.
So they had to have direct access, and they put another hologram. It's like a hologram inside of a hologram.
Right. Point is, they make their way back into the hologram pillar, and they're watching the event go down. And then the president starts to get up, and now he's wearing a tuxedo.
No longer in shorts.
Right, yeah, how terrible. And they're just kind of sitting there watching, and they had expected one of the heads of state to already be a Yeerk. So as they're sitting in the pillar, waiting for them to come around, they're like, whoever the Yeerks grab is obviously not the controller.
Yeah.
But the first guy goes up there, starts talking, everything's cool, and they're like, okay, he must be the controller. He walks away. Another guy walks up there, same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, uh-oh, problem. And Jake's just sitting there the whole time, like Rain Manning, trying to figure out what's going on while everyone's freaking out. And, here's another totally effed up part of this book. Once again, we see no hesitance on their part to morph human.
They just do it. They have all these problems with morphing dolphins, and then
when the right situation presents itself, they're like,
maybe this is just
we
such
better
an
morph
intense I mean, this is not their McDonald's jerk pool entrance mission. This is President of the United States.
Enough. And I'm glad that they recognize that too, that there are occasions where morphing human is probably the better route to go.
Plus, I mean, Cassie just went through this experience of quitting the Animorphs, all this stuff, Yeah,
which they were super quick to accept her back.
Yeah, well, I mean, probably because they, don't get her nagging them for maybe a couple books. Like, this is why this is lined up so that, they did this whole experience with Cassie just to get her off their back for the next trilogy.
And then they made her a really important character, obviously, with the being able to coach people out of not demorphing properly.
Exactly.
So as they're sitting there trying to figure out everything and why there seemingly aren't any controllers, I think Jake catches onto the whole plot that what they're looking at is a hologram.
Yeah, and they actually catch it because of and one thing he thinks about is the president was just outside in shorts, and now he's inside in a tuxedo. No one can get dressed that quickly. I mean, he was doing something completely different, walking the wrong direction and everything. So that on top of the convenience of what's going on, I think, and how the plan isn't going how they were told from Eric Chi, which is an incredibly reliable source. Right. He just flips out immediately, like, Battlemorphs now, go. Which, man, if the Yeerks had just put a little camera in that pillar hologram that they knew the Andalite bandits were going to be in.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I don't think they knew that they would be specifically in that spot, but they knew they'd, probably be around the area somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Yeerks' plan right here for a real quick sec. They have somehow holographically recorded an entire event. Mm-hmm. Think of like the ballroom at a Holiday Inn.
Hold on. You're putting our current human technology and trying to explain the Yeerks with it. This is probably CGI, like the most realistic CGI you could create.
They recreated, I don't know how many exactly, heads of state, holographically giving speeches.
We're talking about a species who broke the speed of light with their ships. This is like 3 button presses on their Final Cut 1000.
It didn't strike me as it's a good plan.
Broaden your mind a little bit.
Hologramception is a good plan.
I'm not joking. This is probably like, boop, 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 boop. Okay, we got our hologram set up. It's like...
No, it's not that easy to just make holograms of...
Mitch!
People.
You don't understand.
And it gets even crazier.
Faster than light travel.
It gets even crazier when they project an entire hologram Hork-Bajir army into the room as well.
Not that crazy. We can do that just on a movie screen. It just takes us 3 years. Why do you think it would be hard for a super advanced spacefaring race to throw it together in an afternoon?
How are they going to get the people's correct voices, mannerisms, anything like that?
Those people who are in the spotlight constantly and have hundreds of hours of documented video on them?
Are you saying that the Yeerks...
That's a Google search.
Stitched together in Final Cut, the Final Cut of holograms.
No, you're trying to put human technology on this alien race. It's well beyond ours.
You're giving them a free pass because they're advanced, is what you're saying.
I'm giving them a free pass on their advanced technology because they're an advanced species with advanced technology, yes.
Clearly, it just doesn't bother you as much as
we're going into this. This is going to be a tangent. Here's the things that they're doing. They're creating lifelike, photorealistic, computer... 3D...
Holograms,
computer-generated...
A big effing deal.
Computer-generated... Okay, we can already do all of those things. It just takes us an incredibly long time to get them that realistic. But we can already, as humans, do all of that right now. Okay? That's step 1.
I don't think we can project an entire banquet hall with individual moving pieces, everybody getting up, walking, giving speeches.
We can't do it that complex. But it's like if we can, it's like the airplane. Okay, you got the Wright brothers in their crappy little glider, in North Carolina or whatever state's fighting over who created flight first. You've got them in this horrible paper mache airplane flying, and that leads to us landing on Mars. I mean, that's how it is.
Okay.
It's this incredibly simple thing, Here's the super advanced version of it.
This was such a small nitpick of mine. I just wanted to
It
say
is.
that it was an incredibly
I have a problem.
way out there elaborate plan.
I have a problem with anyone who says something is not impossible or something is impossible because we.
No. I don't disagree with that. Listen, if it is possible, it is done. If it is impossible, it will be done.
Exactly. So what's your argument?
My argument is that it's just dumb.
Okay, that's a good argument.
The Yeerks fooled the Andalite bandits with 3 layers of holograms.
That's 3 layers of holograms. I'd be surprised by that probably.
Well, and they were. Oops, I just messed up my notes hardcore. Okay, everyone's in Battlemorph now because Visitor Tony's out there and he's actually captured them. He's revealing their plot. The banquet was tomorrow night. That's him twisting his mustache.
And here's his monk.
Right. And Marco's in his awesome new Cobra morph for battles.
Kind of hidden in the background.
Super sweet. I specifically remembered that part of the book.
It's cheap because it's
him. Visitor Tony knows how many Andalite bandits there are, or he thinks he does. And Marco's like in an unfamiliar morph for them, and he's out of sight.
You remember this specifically. Because I remember this specifically because this is the sample chapter from Discovery.
Oh, was it? No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I remember it because
it
was, as weird as this is going to sound, it was the first time I thought, like, as a kid about perspective and, like, if you're standing somewhere and something's blocking somebody else's view of you, you can't be seen.
The first time you thought about it, this book was, like, you should have been, like, 10 or 11.
Young.
It's not that young. You should have figured that out already.
I told you it was going to sound stupid. But it makes
Learning
sense.
with Mitch.
Yeah, and this is a really tense scene because everyone thinks they're caught and they're screwed.
Yeah, you've got what looks like 50 Hork-Bajir.
At this point, yeah, they don't know the Hork-Bajir are holograms.
Yeah, it's a hologram and a hologram and a hologram.
They think they're surrounded and they're about to get really boned here, and we see really who David really is. He's the kind of guy who is going to just join the winning team, whatever side it may be.
He jumps over to Visor and is like, Visor, I don't know why he didn't just cut his head off, but...
He should have just tailblade through his chest.
But he was like, Visor, hey, I'm on your side. These guys captured me. They're kidnapping me. They're keeping me hostage.
And it's not even like a joking minute. Like, if he'd have private Thoughtspeak Jake and been like, yo, I got this. I'm going to play with his mind. I'm going to psych him out.
Yeah, that's all
he'd have been okay. He doesn't do that. He's like rushing over to Visitor Tony, like, all right, I'm on your side. And only stops because Cassie in Wolfmark just clamps down on him.
Yeah, he's like about to flat out say that they're humans, and and reveal their secret, and the Cassie
just sinks her teeth in.
Which is awesome. This is why this is good written. This is why this is for us above just some children's book series, because you have the layer of this character, Cassie, who the entire book is saying, hey, take it easy on David. He's not that bad. He's been through a lot. And then the second that anyone could have, it could have been their downfall of trusting him too much, Cassie was ready. She was ready.
Well, yeah, the second he proves himself as a threat, a possible threat, she's like, gotcha.
The threat.
That's where they get... Okay. Yeah. It's like a really bad situation, and hologramception continues.
It's a live recording. We can't edit this out. Well, we could, but it would take a lot of time. And
jump cut. They find out that the Hork-Bajir army is false, and that there's not really ever. And it makes sense because they're in such a big place. All the humans around. They're like, how could they get
this many Hork-Bajir
in here?
Yeah,
right.
It's not gonna happen.
So they figure out it's holograms.
Yeah, they get Marco to try to bite one of the holograms.
Yeah, that's what it was. And David kind of tries to redeem himself here by being like, "This was all a ploy," and he attacks Visitor Tony. Doesn't really work out, obviously.
Yeah.
And he just kind of realigns him, so he falls back in line with the team because it looks like they're going to be the winning side.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes sense.
So he's back with them temporarily, and they all manage to escape, and it's kind of cool for a sec.
Yeah.
Until they're, leaving, and then...
Favorite part of the book right here.
Where David's sitting there just bragging about how awesome he was. I don't know if he was doing that specifically to, at this point, Like, if we had been in his head, you know, would he have been thinking, like, well, everyone already hates me, and, yeah, David's just, he's got the nerve to really brag about himself and everything he did there, and I don't know if he's doing it just to be a dick, or if he, like, genuinely thinks, like, oh, I did a good thing there.
Yeah, I think he thinks he got away with it, so he's going there.
Yeah, like,
and so he's playing it up, he's
Scott
convincing
for it.
himself that he did good. But, I mean, best part about this is why it's amazing. This is where Jake just makes a turn. Like, his dialogue, what he's thinking.
Yeah.
It's just it's a hard left. It's
You're
not
right,
it's not a, oh, I wonder if he's bad. I wonder if this David character is going to be an issue. At this sign, there's no coming back. He's already made up his mind about David. They're going to fix the problem.
Well,
And it's such a cold turn.
he's telling, like, the other teammates to just shut up, ignore the problem, don't do anything yet, because he really doesn't want to, like, push David over the edge. You know, he's, like, teetering there on the edge. He can sense that David is obviously a problem that has to be dealt with.
Yeah,
But he doesn't want anyone to, like, tip him off that they're going to start planning against him.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he thinks that they're plotting against him, he's going to take off, which he does anyway.
He's going to go rogue. So, this is just such a fairly powerful scene.
It's
Especially
awesome.
from Jake's perspective. I wouldn't have wanted to been in anyone else's head right there. So
Me neither. So after kind of diffusing the situation there, everyone sort of goes home, goes their own separate ways. But Jake makes the really intelligent decision to go and watch over David overnight. Make sure he's not up to something or sneaking away. And he makes it through most of the night without seeing anything.
he almost is thinking, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I don't have anything to worry about. And then,
as he's drifting off to Slumberland in the back of Cassie's dad's truck, watching the barn, he gets a thought speak from Axe, who I don't even think he knew was watching him there.
Yeah, Eagle. No, I think he had a couple people on him. I think this was coordinated.
No. I think he specifically says like that he goes to do it alone because he doesn't talk to anybody while he's doing it.
No, but I think it's implied in the last when he's giving everyone orders to not talk to David or to not give themselves away. I think it's implied that
they're all gonna watch him or something.
No, that Jake's going to call them up separately and figure out a plan, or he's going to give them the plan on the way home or something. It's like a hard cut, and then there's like a time jump.
Or it could be he just knows that he can depend on Axe and Tobias, the two like free agents of the group, to
but
be there
really
watching.
think everybody's in on this. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, they all are. But specifically, Axe is the one who's like,
Eagle leaving the barn.
Yeah, Eagle leaving the barn. We have a traitor.
What an awesome line.
It was a good line. Yeah. That was sweet. So Jake sends Tobias after him first because he and Axe have to do some morphing to catch up.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. They follow him back to his house.
His
he goes back to his
burned
own
wreck
house.
of a house.
Yeah. That's where he finds him. And as soon as Jake flies in, he knows stuff is serious because Tobias is like bloody and laying on the floor.
Broken neck.
there. Yeah, he looks dead.
Well,
For all intents and purposes, right now, as far as we know, Tobias is dead.
Yeah, this red-tailed hawk who looks a lot like Tobias is dead on the.
David says straight up, "Oh, he's dead, by the way."
Yeah,
I killed him.
That's hardcore as a, 12-year-old reading or 11-year-old.
I know, and the thing about Animorphs is, I wouldn't put it past them to kill Tobias off like this in this fashion.
This would have been a great way to kill Tobias. Seriously, think of
It
all
could
the
have been.
repercussions and all the books that could have come after this. That would have been dealing with their first member lost because they made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, and it's not even like due to a mission error or anything. It's like this is a problem we brought in.
I know I say it a lot, but I want to read that book. I want to read The Morning of Tobias.
The Morning of Tobias.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. So as soon as he gets in the room, he knows stuff is pretty serious. They have a little argument. I think he tries to.
I want to say a specific line, and this is not. I have no notes on this. This is not me reading from the book. I'm
you
not
do
even
have
sure.
the book right in front of you.
It's true, but I'm not reading it. And I'm not sure if this is from this book, but it's David says something along the lines of, "I would never kill a human, but a bird, a tiger."
I think
is that from the end of this book?
No, that was the first one when he does kill a bird.
I know, but I was saying. I think when they're on the mall roof, maybe that's when he says it. But David's line from this book, or the next one of those, he says, I wouldn't kill a human. I wouldn't do that. I'm not a murderer. But I'd kill a bird, and I'd kill a tiger. You know, he says he'll kill the animals. He'll kill animals. That's how he justifies it to himself. He's not really killing a human. He's killing a bird, even though it's Tobias.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Well, either way, he's a dick. And, as they're sitting there kind of arguing, Jake's trying to still sort of defuse the situation. Hork-Bajir bust in.
Because they're obviously watching
as
the house.
usual. Yeah. He's just got him like, I imagine like an ice cream truck. Visitor Tony's driving around an ice cream truck with like 9 Hork-Bajir crammed in the back with their blades all mismatched.
They've got like a drumstick hanging off one.
Licking ice cream cones. Getting ready to go into battle. The Hork-Bajir all bust in, and everybody has to run. They have to run, and Axe is there. They've got to demorph and remorph quickly, and David gets away, as he's always doing, it seems.
So Jake is racing after David. He basically turns to Axe in Private Thoughtspeak and says, get Rachel.
Yeah, awesome moment,
awesome
too.
Line.
Because he knows what has to be done, and he knows Cassie's not going to do it.
No good Cassie.
Marco could do it, but why? When you got Rachel.
Marco would make the decision to do it. But if you need something done and you need to get your hands dirty, this is something that's going to actually make Rachel a good character. Because right now she's crazy Rachel. She'll go off. It's kind of like almost character depth. But it's really just like, she's crazy and she's built for this. And this is the life she always wanted. But when Rachel starts dealing with the fact that Jake said get Rachel over everyone else because he knows that she'll do the messed up thing, that's when she starts having a character. It's this right here. This book defines Rachel.
Yeah. And it lets you know, like, they all have their own special niche in the group. But yeah, when things go real south and they need some murder to happen,
get Rachel.
Yeah, that's what they call it. It's pretty sweet. It's what makes this book so dang good.
Makes this book series so dang good.
So Axe has to fly off, leaving Jake to himself, and he's following David, and David's flying. He's still in Birdmore.
Kind of switching directions, not really knowing where he's going to go.
Yeah, and they're even talking to each other a little bit, and David's like, where are we going to do this at? Like, I guess this place will have to be as good as any, and he sets down on the mall roof.
Which is awesome. I mean, this is
great.
This is the greatest thing. This is like what a TV show does when it gets to its like stride. Like when it gets into and knows its characters, knows its universe, they start like doing complex storylines, but hitting the milestones of the book series. So to have this fight take
bring
place,
it back to the mall.
Yeah, to have the fight take place in the mall roof
at night.
That's touching on the classicness of the series. Yeah, it's just...
If they had done book covers that weren't these weird kids morphing things, if they had done like scenes from the book, would have been such an awesome scene.
You could do... Okay. Maybe this is a little artsy, but you could do book covers for the entirety of the series, different perspectives from around the mall. Just like looking at different parts of town. Like one's from like the doors looking outside, one's looking at the construction yard out front, and each one... You could piece together the entire series just by having, like, just views from the mall.
Yeah, but I think about 85% of the books would just have forest on the cover.
Yeah. Well, no, it'd be great. It'd be like the roof of the mall with, like, some little, like, thrown away shopping cart or something, like, on its side, and then the forest in the foreground, or in the background.
Artsy. Yeah. So this is an awesome moment in the book, and it's unfortunate that it's probably only like a page and a half, maybe.
What a damn good page and a half, though.
Yeah, because, we've got Jake who goes tiger, David goes lion, and it's been built up since the previous book.
This is what people who picked up the first book were wanting.
Yeah.
This is like
once you find out that he gets that lion morph.
I'm gonna go super nerdy right here, and you're gonna appreciate it. This is like when a manga that's like hardcore philosophical decides to be a battle manga all of a sudden.
It's like a genre change.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you know what, we're going to deal with complex issues, and Cassie, she doesn't know she wants to be an Animorph. Tiger versus lion, next book.
Boom, here it is. Yeah, it's an awesome moment where they're battling it out, and As it just so happens, the fight ends prematurely because they end up on the glass skylight of the mall. If this were done,
this is
either live action or animated, it would just be epic.
That's what I'm saying. This is purely how you could justify the live action over animation. Reading scenes like this. Roger Deakins shooting this.
No, I don't care about that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm never going to care about live action.
A tiger circling a lion and then fighting and falling through a skylight.
I think it would look just as good in animation.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because they could do insane, awesome things with it.
They could do like paintbrushes. Like Street Fighter 4. Ooh.
I believe in the power of animation.
I believe in the power of animation.
This guy's a doubter over here.
I'm just saying.
He thinks live human beings are so special.
There's a movie it's being released this week in the Alamo Drafthouse called Roar, and it's a 1970s movie where they shot with like over 200 lions, tigers, cheetahs, and
I want to see that.
Yeah, and like 70 people on set.
That is exactly why Animorphs should never be done live action.
70 people.
This proves it.
70 crew members were maimed on set.
Yeah, all the maulings that happened. We need that. But
Jake, stop!
Jake's on a rampage. Yeah.
Shoot her!
So we don't really know how the battle ends, unfortunately, just yet, because it leaves off to be continued as they're falling through the skylight.
No. It does not leave with them falling through the skylight. It leaves off with Jake feeling a ripping at his throat and blood pulsating out of him.
Really? Let's see. Go to the last page. What does it specifically say?
It says specifically.
Oh, you are really bad at skipping pages.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's right there. No, just read that last little bit there. You don't even need to go from there.
No, yeah, right here.
Oh my god, you're going to read like half a page.
Below me, I saw the dim night lights of the mall. I caught a strange, unreal glimpse of the Walden Books. That's
Books. Yeah, that's old school.
That's where I bought my first Animorphs book. Walden Books.
Oh, we didn't have that. We had B. Dalton.
Anyway, Walden Books and the baby got beside it. It was a 20-foot drop to the upper mall concourse. David leaped. I couldn't grip well enough to move, so I stood defenseless as the tan blur came at me like a truck. He hit. His mouth was aimed at my throat. I jerked aside. He slammed into me, and there was a huge world-filling shattering of glass.
Right.
Down we fell! ! Down we fell, slashing and biting and trying to kill, even as the floor rushed up to slam us. And then, in midair, twisting to get my feet beneath me, I felt the teeth. I felt them sink into my neck. I felt the blood gushing, my tiger's blood, my blood, falling, and already the darkness, the darkness, to be continued.
That's a cliffhanger. That's how you do cliffhanger endings. Though, I don't actually believe Jake's dead, or in any real danger.
Here's what we're doing right here. 5 out of 5. No lengthy review. No need to talk it over. No little comical.
How did you know I was going to give it a 5 out of 5?
I'm not going to. You don't get to decide.
You don't get to decide.
This is our review right here.
To be fair, I wasn't going to give it a 4. This is a 5.
No 5 tigers out of 5 tigers. This is a 5.
Straight up.
Out of 5.
Visitor
One of the best books I've ever read.
5 out of 5 Visitor Tonys.
Nope, don't.
Sure.
Don't even sully it with our little joke. This is a work of literature. This is suspenseful writing like Michael Crichton and Tom Clancy wish they could write.
A true American classic.
It is. It's just too smart and too well written for.
No, yeah, you make a good point. With all the talking up we've done of this, it is hard to give it a proper review because we've really hit everything we like about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so much development.
Remember that time we were talking about the plot and Jake? that was the general things. That was our review. They're amazing.
It's all good. I mean, I'm super pumped for the next one.
And that's the thing. It's the weird thing. Like the Discovery, kind of just your normal Animorphs book. Like it was good. It was well written. Yeah. But it was kind of just like, okay, here's a cool concept. They got a new Animorph. Stuff's happening. Maybe he's not all it seems or whatever. But still, pretty straightforward Animorphs book. Nothing all that special about it. Just the start of a good thing. Yeah. This is them taking off and being like, we're gonna write a sequel. We're gonna write a sequel to a book. We're gonna write a sequel to a book. It's gonna take place in this world we built, and we're gonna go all out with it.
Yeah. Aside from the fluff that we mentioned, which you know what, I think if they had cut out the fluff from the first book,
and it's very little fluff. Every Animorphs book has.
and maybe combine them.
Yeah.
Maybe throw in another book from David's
But every
perspective.
Animorphs book has fluff.
Maybe
This
drop him off with the Chi for a book.
This is minimal fluff. Minimal fluff. And so, like, this one and the next one, you really go into these personalities in this world and how David is just crashing it down around them.
Yeah. If anything, I think maybe we could have gained something from not having it back to back as a trilogy if they had done it like, okay, David is brought in one book, and then we're going to sit him aside with the Chi.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do another book, maybe with this super hardcore mission that's super important. And then, bring him back, do that training book, like you said. If we had a book from David's perspective, him out in the forest, acts as his mentor, oh my God, it would probably be one of the best books.
My only regret of this is the fact that David isn't a recurring problem.
Right, yeah. And based on how easily he gets away from every situation in this book, the previous book, the next book is going to start out with him escaping once again.
I do appreciate giving him an ending, like not just having him get away and he'll be there next time, like Darth Vader's, TIE fighter circling off into the distance.
Yeah, or the Blade ship.
Yeah, they ended it, which I appreciate, but then they decided to bring him back in a horribly ghostwritten book.
Right, yeah,
So,
not my favorite. Maybe upon second reading, I'll find something more to enjoy about it.
Well, I mean, I like that it's Krayak and I like that it's David, but that's about where it ends.
Yeah, I still think they could have just done more with it. But in terms of this book, you're right. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
I don't know what the solution's going to be.
I honestly don't. I remember liking it, and I remember it gets dark, and it gets really dark.
We gave the Discovery 4 out of 5, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that was a 4 out of 5. This is 5 out of 5. The next one, I'm going to say it's probably going to be another 5 out of 5. I'm optimistic. I think it's going to be great.
I remember the crazy dark parts, and it might get boost in score just from that and me remembering that.
Honestly, I forgot all of the Cousin Sadler stuff. And when we were doing that first book, The Discovery, you brought it up. You said something. Don't you remember what happens with the cousin? And just because I didn't want to argue about it or spoil it for myself, I went along with it. But at the time, I was thinking, no. And then once this popped up, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that is going to be a good little side plot.
So, yeah, but I can't remember. And the Rachel stuff is, obviously, it's all about her dealing with, and you don't really pick up on these first 2 books. You could say that's kind of a fault of the trilogy. They don't really build up Rachel's feelings to the 3rd book, because the 3rd book's all about how much she hates David and how much he makes her feel weak.
There's a really good line in here about this, in fact. Keep talking, I'm going to find it.
Okay, well.
It's when they're all flying away with her. She's like, I hate him. He's a little turd. Right?
He's such a little turd. You're just flipping through pages there?
Oh, it's towards the end here, I know. It's when they're all flying away from yeah, she says, the gutless, treacherous little worm. He blows with the wind. He turned on Visitor 3 when he saw he might win.
Yeah, but I mean, in the next book, she's really dealing with the fact that she hates him. Not like just a hate. She's like, he gets under her skin at another level.
Yeah. No, he is like the anti-Rachel.
Yeah, he ends up, if he's a rival to anyone, you almost make it seem like he's Marco because they fight so much in the first 2 books.
Yeah, and that's...
But he's Rachel's
He's
rival.
Rachel's adversary.
Yeah.
And as much as they want to make it seem like he's Jake's adversary right now, it ultimately comes back to Rachel.
I mean, he gets the better of Jake, but he's not like Jake's equal.
He's more like just an obstacle for Jake.
Yeah, he's
a learning experience.
He's catching Jake at a horrible time. Jake has to make all these decisions on whether they can have a new Animorph while they're doing this incredibly important mission.
Right.
Jake's stumbling because he's got the world on his shoulders. So, yeah, he loses a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know? This is Rachel's biggest threat.
This is her destiny, some might say.
It is. If only she could grow super muscles and super long claws and fight him. That's what the fan base is really looking for.
That's what we want. If anything, we should have that on a cover of a book.
I want that book.
Yeah. But that said, I think that's everything we've got about this book. We both are crazy about it. Really excited for the next one.
Yeah.
It would be great if we could do another video episode, but it's probably not going to happen.
No, this is probably the last time. I don't think we're going to record another one tomorrow when I'm into my bachelor party, and I'm just
Yeah,
Barely
that would be
conscious.
a great time to review a book.
I like the Animorphs. They're my friends.
Maybe just a private thought speak.
Oh, it'll get private. Fanbase, we're going to put another Facebook poll. Would you like to see Coleman record with no pants?
I thought...
Weigh in now.
Don't act like you've been wearing pants this whole time, okay? I know what's going on down there.
This is why we don't...
Sleep deprivation!
This is why we don't record in the same room. There's a...
Not usually.
Yeah. There's too much history here.
I've never been able to do this while we're recording. It's like I'm in the room with him. It's so weird. He's like physical.
Never been able to punch me when I've gone on a tangent. Hadouken!
Just stop talking!
You still haven't seen all the Mission Impossibles. That is insane.
No, I haven't. But you know what? I really want to see the new one because I hear how good it is.
You can't jump in at 6.
Yeah, you can.
Or 5. I think they're on 5.
You don't even know.
But it's not even like the 6th one's supposed to be great, but so are all the other. The second one is arguably the only one that's not that great and still has amazing action scenes in it.
You know what else I haven't seen all of?
What?
But I still saw the new one and it blew my
Is this Private
pants
Thought
off.
Part 2?
No, you started bringing up movies. Mad Max, Fury Road. I have not seen the other Mad Maxes.
It doesn't matter. I've only seen Mad Max 2.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter.
Like, the other ones are inconsequential to the plot of
Exactly.
Mad Max Fury Road.
No, I wasn't saying it plot-wise. I knew that didn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen the other ones.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen Road Warrior until this new one was coming out. And that's like the famous one. The second one.
Yeah, they've got different titles, don't they?
Yeah, it's Mad Max, and then it's The Road Warrior in America because they didn't think that Americans had seen this weird Australian film, which is what the first one is.
No.
All of them are Australian films.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And it's like their only export. It's like that and Foster's.
Yeah.
Because none of their people will drink
Foster's and Deadly Snake Bites.
Yeah.
They export them.
So yeah, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, and then you have Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, and then now you have Mad Max.
Oh, is that the one with
Road.
Master Blaster?
Yep.
Haven't seen it.
Yep. And I'm not even joking. I've got like 2 or 3 days off this week, and I'm gonna hit up Straight Outta Compton. I really want to see that. It's got an 87%. The trailer looks amazing.
You know,
I love NWA.
It's right up there in my priorities list, right under record a podcast, write a novel, write a screenplay, right under all that stuff is go see Straight Outta Compton.
I'm starting a new job and I'm planning a wedding. So.
And Straight Outta Compton is above both of those things, right? Anyway, Animorphs review is done.
That is.
Excellent episode.
Yeah, first live episode. See how everyone reacts to this. Will they care? I don't know.
I don't know. It should be an interesting experiment.
But I think we're gonna throw the videos up first and then release the
audio. Yep.
The audio maybe a week later.
Whenever I get around to it.
Yeah. Well, let's say a week later, just because whenever you get around to it, it's fine. I'm just saying give it a gap so that people check out the video.
Yes, a noticeable gap. Sure.
Yeah.
Will do.
Okay. Well, I think
watch for the gap.
Look for our gaps.
Look at our gaps.
So yeah, that's our first video review of the Animorphs books. If you'd like to see more of these, chime in, and maybe we'll throw a Kickstarter up, and we'll turn this into a video podcast.
Kickstart our plane tickets, me to fly to Texas and him to fly to Minnesota.
Well, if people really wanted a video podcast, we could Kickstart it, get some video equipment that is actually good. That
doesn't suck.
And have us side by side, Magic filmmaking.
Should we both record on green screens? We could green screen ourselves in a couch behind us.
We could have you upside down, your head's going this way and mine's up here. And...
I think we should do the dramatic split screen where it's that, and I'm down here and you're on that. Yeah, the comic book.
They do
we're on the phone.
They do the Brady Bunch. It's 7 different boxes, and we're in all of them, looking down at each other.
I don't even know how we'd coordinate that.
Yeah,
but if you want to see more, hey, let us know. And if you really like the episode, let us know. We love hearing kind words about ourselves.
Keep sending us those emails. You can reach us at thoughtspeakcast@gmail.com. You can jump on our Twitter @morphcast or facebook.com/thoughtspeakcast.
Reddit.com/r/animorphs. We post there.
We're the only ones who post there.
Apparently the sub is dead without us. Sorry.
I apologize. Oh, and obviously check out our main website at www.thoughtspeakcast.com.
I would also like to say, Twitter, hashtag David Trilogy. Is that the hashtag we started? Is it hashtag
so.
David Trilogy?
It's been a while.
Or hashtag it's
what
on.
up, David?
Hashtag Epic David. I can't remember. Hashtag us.
Hashtag things with us and David's bridal? I don't know. Do something
our jokes are getting worse.
Do something with the Twitterverse. We'll be there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm also on Twitter at I am Mitchell Olsen.
Okay. Well, that's great, man. Good. Okay.
Promoting myself. Self-promotion. It's important.
My name's Coleman McClung, last surviving member of the Nostromo crew. Signing out.
And my name is Mitchell Olsen, last surviving Saiyan on Earth. Signing out.